Thank you, Ranking Member. I will now recognize Chair Castro for opening remarks.
Thank you, Chairman Cetas, and good morning, everybody. I'm glad to be co-chairing this important meeting with Congressman and Chairman Cetas. There's no sugarcoating that we're at a crucial moment in our hemisphere's history. Migration in the Americas has risen dramatically over the past decade due to deteriorating economic and humanitarian conditions and increased violence, crime, and corruption. The effects of the COVID-19 pandemic and the two back-to-back hurricanes in 2020 have only worsened already dire situations in Central America. U.S. government agencies reported encountering more than 1 million migrants along the U.S.-Mexico border in 2021, with most arrivals coming from Mexico, Honduras, Guatemala, and El Salvador. Data shows that conditions on the ground are not improving and continue to drive the desire to migrate. The World Justice Project reports that almost half of Hondurans want to migrate to another country, with 18% having active plans to do so within the next year. This urgency to migrate is also high in El Salvador and Guatemala. While one of the main motivations for migration remains economic opportunity, the deterioration of the rule of law has given many no choice but to flee, with the number of migrants encountered at the border from Venezuela, Nicaragua, Haiti, and Cuba increasing in recent months. These trends emphasize the important need to not only increase economic opportunity as a key root cause, but to also address the insufficient systems and institutions that have failed to provide protection and prosperity to millions in the region and have actively discriminated against the most vulnerable. Therefore, a holistic, inclusive approach to migration is needed. Before moving on to today's topic of conversation, the Vice President's call to action, I want to quickly note that the United States border policy must also work in complement with our efforts to address root causes of migration. Harmful immigration policies, such as Title 42 and the Remain in Mexico program, have failed in deterring migration flows and instead have fueled greater violence and xenophobic rhetoric. As we expand our international development work in Central America, private sector and partnerships can play a strong role in expanding economic opportunities in the region. At the same time, our relationship and the relationship of American corporations to the people of these nations must also be fair, just, and equitable. In May 2021, Vice President Kamala Harris announced the call to action, which helped launch the Public-Private Partnership for Central America. This collaboration provides an innovative approach with the potential to improve economic conditions and contribute to overall stability in the region. These commitments by 40 companies, totaling $3.2 billion to address root causes of migration, are an important start, but we must make sure that they result in sustainable impact and inclusive economic growth. In making these investments, I believe that we should not only strive to bring more workers into the formal economy and increase access to digital financing, but we must also ensure that everyone, especially the vulnerable and often disenfranchised, are able to benefit from such investments. This is why I hope that any private investment is paired with strong anti-corruption measures, increased wages, and protections in labor and environmental rights. Furthermore, to truly succeed, this partnership in our government must engage with local actors. The Biden administration's focus on addressing root causes of migration through humanitarian and foreign assistance is an important piece of the solution, but so is engaging with local and national actors. I worked with my colleagues on HVAC and in appropriations to secure funding for our foreign assistance programs, and most importantly, for our locally led development efforts, including Central America Local, a new and important USAID initiative to address root causes of migration. I was also glad to attend the Summit of the Americas earlier this month and to continue my work with civil society to elevate local voices and include key provisions in the Declaration of Migration and Protection. We already know that partnering with local actors makes assistance more effective, more sustainable, and more equitable. The impact of the commitments by members of the VP's call to action can and will be strengthened when local actors, including civil society organizations, entrepreneurs, indigenous communities, and others are included in investment projects from the beginning. Private sector and investment alone will not stem migratory flows. As I've always said, the United States international development capabilities include a strong coordination between entities like USAID, DFC, and the State Department, as well as NGOs and the private sector. Therefore, coordination among these entities is not only beneficial, but essential to make a difference. I look forward to hearing from the witnesses on their work and how Congress and the U.S. government can ensure our investments are creating long-lasting change. My hope is that this hearing serves not as a one-off conversation, but as a starting point for continued engagement on the impact and results of this public-private partnership. And with that, I yield back to Chairman Cetas.